Welcome to the Philippine Chicken Karagdagang Kaalaman.
Now, down to what they call the technical feasibility. So, iba kasi ang feasibility study than the technical feasibility. Ang feasibility study naman po, that is comprises the holistic approach to determine if the implementation of project is really feasible or not. But on the technical feasibility naman niya, we'll be discussing more on what they call the technology by itself. If you're going to adopt the technology of CPU, what then? Ano naman ngayon doon? Kaya nga, from 2012 when we started this project, started on the CPU feeds, development of CPU feeds, but as we go along on years, we continually developing it. But the technology to be developed at CPU po, it used to answer the problem, the demand, the quality demanded by the market, and the raising requirement of the growers or the farmers. The market is wanted for the chicken na hindi matigas, giving what they call a tender, juicy meat. And they are paying it a premium price, but when you say about premium price, how premium is the premium? So the premium price meaning that based on the experience that we have, the 275, if you can further reduce it, meaning that the number of chicken that will be sold out will increase, no? Parang ganon yan. And at the same time, we are also answering the need of the raisers to produce a chicken that is in terms of the survival rate mataas, in terms of growing it, because the common problem that we have is that it took about 4 to 5 months before the native chicken can attain the marketable live weight of about 850 grams. But at CPU, we're able to have it in 3 months time. That is why that we are promoting this commercial scale of production. If you want to produce a cleaner meat, a safer meat, we're also producing what they call the feeds, whereby it is the formulation of it is utilizes the findings that we have in 2005, that in one formulation that we have at least not less than 15 different feedstuff being used in that formulations. And even for the medication, we are using what they call the plant extracts. That is why that right now, yung pinakamabilis na padala po natin in our carnitives all throughout the Philippines is the base mix. Actually, the base mix that we have, mas mura yan. Sana if the area of the racer is near to Iloilo, but we are still working on the possibility of having authorized dealer in other regions so that if we can have it sent in bulk para mas pamamura natin. And that is on how we can help the racer. Kasi the racer is that they are clamoring about the very expensive feeds, That is why at Central Philippine University, lucky those who are racers are near at CPU because they can avail nowadays base mix at a less cost. Even the base mix that we have, and one way that we can help to increase the survival rate. Kaya nga sabi namin is that if you're going to compare the technology of CPU with those on the racer side, on the backyard scale po, we drastically reduce the mortality. Right now, yung pinakamataas na siguro is 20%. And one way on how we can effectively introduce the treatment that we have, that is why that we're using what they call the base mix, medicated base mix. And the field trials that we have in Mindanao and Luzon area, malaking breakthrough na po in terms of survival rate, mataas po. There's no need for you to apply antibiotics then. Again, the quality of the meat of the chicken derived from this is ideal requirement for the niche market. And then the housing that we are sharing to you, we narrow down the technology into a practical means of housing. That is why that we are recommending the design and the measurement, but in terms of material, you can use what they call the locally available materials. In terms of the market prospects of raising native chicken, the market prospects. Kaya nga, if you could still remember in my live stream program that during the pandemic, the height of pandemic last, I think, December, there are a number of viewers na sabi, Doc, tanong sa akin, Doc, what is your projection of the demand of native chicken after the pandemic or after 2020? Sabi ko that tataas. Bakit? It is because na nakita mo dong premise. It is because that even before December, the presence of African swine fever po, no, in Luzon area po, tumataas po. That is why that one of the alternative for the pork is the chicken. And even if you can still remember in my live stream program about the market outlook po na in terms of native chicken po, the market outlook and the prospects on it, doon makikita po nyo that ang buyer po ng native chicken, if you are going to raise native chicken, identify where and who are your buyers. Your buyers are those belonging on the middle and the upper class economic level of living, and they are residing in the urban barangays and spending almost 70% of their earnings for expenses. And out of that 70%, almost it ranges from majority of them spending 5 to 8% of that expenditure that they have for meat product like chicken. The per capita consumption is keep on increasing and increasing among those individuals. But the problem that we have is that on the trend in terms of consuming fast-growing pound, kung makikita po nyo on that presentation that we have, it is on a decreasing manner. Why? It is because they know na the side effect of eating dressed chicken now loaded with synthetic chemicals like antibiotic and growth promotant. No, parang ganon yan. So meaning that the potential of this enterprise is there. As I mentioned in my live stream program, totoo po yan. And I computed that way back on 2010 when I conducted my dissertation. The total requirement of the Philippines is about 238 million heads of native chicken. And that is very minimal. And that is only 10% of the total dressed broiler chicken now on 2019-2020. The dressed chicken then was almost 2 billion heads of broiler were slaughtered. So meaning that still their opportunity behind raising native chicken in commercial scale. Only that the problem that we have is that and how we are going to start it and how the support services should be there. And that is why that we put up the Philippine Native Chicken Facebook page that is for the technical support of those who will be engaging in commercial production of native chicken. Pag may maproblema kayo, you can message us na kaya nga we are conducting what they call the survey so that we can also improve the delivery of services that we can have among the raisers of native chicken. That is a specialized page. Again, if you know somebody or friend of yours or family members of yours planning to engage in this kind of venture, please share this page to them. So those are what they call the market prospects and raising native chicken. One is what they call the gestation period as potential risk in operation. Karamihan kasi sa tanong, maganda kasi tingnan yung manok na sobrang dami sa isang housing, parang ganito makikita nyo sa may banda, no? Sobrang dami niyan. But the problem is that in venturing in agriculture project, either it is on the animal or crop project po, there is always a gestation period. Baka sabihin nyo, nagbubuntis ba yung manok? Hindi po. Yung pala nagbubuntis, hindi po. Ibig sabihin po ng gestation period agriculture, meaning that is the period whereby there is no inflow of cash in your operation. Yung kung bakit na isa to sa mga risk na nakita namin in the operation of native chicken. The newbies have the capital to invest. In this kind of project. Ang nagiging problema lang nila is this one. They fall short in terms of the operation cost. Bakit po? Yung operation cost kasi nila, akala nila tapos na, but they forgot that yung operation kasi day-to-day expenses that they have na parang nawala na ata. So parang ganun po kasi yung problema natin. That is why that in terms of operating this kind of project, remember always there is a gestation period, and that is one of the great risks that the newbies will encounter. Tandaan natin, if you'll be raising chicken for the purpose of making it grown until it reaches the marketing age po, you need about 3 months. If you're going to start it on the old chicks, ibig sabihin po within the 3 months na no income will be realized. Meaning that you're going to pour in some amount on it. Yung kung bakit dapat pag-isipan po nyo yan. We'll be discussing that more on details when we will be conducting webinar specific for that production scheme. And if you'll be raising chicken for the purpose of producing the old chicks, alam nyo kung ilang buwan ang gestation period niya, we are recommending that possibly na start the flock po when they're about 4 months old. 4 months old. But do not incubate the eggs if your hen is less than 7 months. Bakit po? Ibig sabihin po niyan, pag maliliit yung itlog, maliliit yung sisiw. Pag maliliit yung sisiw, mas mabilis na puan ng sakit. That is why that we're waiting for about 7 months before it will be incubated. O ilang buwan yan? 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 buwan. And still, we will be waiting for another 3 months before that the old chicks will be dressed. Ibig sabihin po, you will be waiting for about 6 months. There is no inflow of cash for that month. That is why that even though that will be selling also unviable eggs unviable for incubation, but their number is not enough to cover up your operation. If you could still remember in some of my presentations, sabi ko nga that preferably before you start a project, pwede magtanim muna kayo ng saging o di kaya yung mga mabilis na pagkukunan po nyo ng extra capital for the operation. Yan kasi dito po ang pagkakamali po ng iba na they have underestimated the operation. Ay nako, the operation for the native chicken, lalo na pag in commercial scale, sometimes not sometimes but most of the time when you encounter problem, pag hindi po matagunan, ibig sabihin po problema ang dulot yan. That is why that the technical support of the Philippine native chicken is always here para po makatulong po sa inyo. And you are lucky if you'll only be producing the old chicks. Bakit po? Because kung the old chicks lang, ibig sabihin po 5, 6, 7, 3 months, and then on the 8 months meron ka ng sisiw para ibenta. But remember always that not all of the chicks that you're producing will be sold out in the market. Dapat you have some provisions na ever na hindi pabinta po, you can have it be grown in your farm. Parang ganon yan. So, that's all about the webinar.